What up, world? This is Tawan, Lifestyles Defined.
Ramon.
And we're back again. This is podcast number 2, huh? Number two for the podcast. We're going to touch on a few things briefly. You know, nothing crazy, nothing too outlandish, but definitely the goods. You know, summertime's been very good to us. Yeah. And so we're going to set it off real good. Well, first of all, you know, early in the summer, we had the announcement for the Windows Phone 8.
Yeah.
And big shit, definitely. You know, a few things I didn't like about it, but, you know, we'll touch on that briefly. You know, as it stands, no full update for the current devices, such as Titans, Titan 2s, Nokia, Lumias, none of those are receiving the update, and I'm actually disappointed in that, but I understand, of course, why that's not happening. As it stands, the UI is actually going to get an update, customizable tiles for the current devices, whereas the future devices will come NFC compliant, you know, a lot of hardware upgrades, specs upgrades, and, you know, some stuff of that nature.
Yeah, so it's like Blackberries. Blackberries, you can pretty much lock them down and administer them however you want. So Windows Phone 8 gets a lot of that enterprise security, where it's actually a physical chip that lets you control the firmware. You can wipe the device remotely. So that's a big part of the reason why they won't, you know, some of our phones won't be getting that full Windows Phone 8 update. But they did give us the UI,
right? The
new home screen.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. It's not terrible.
Yeah, can't beat that. You know, nothing outlandish there. But, you know, it's not bad getting a new UI. You know. It's nice to know at least, you know, Windows is thinking of us, unlike the Apple guys, you know. No Siri for any older devices, but that's another story.
Fuck you, Apple.
Yeah, fuck you. Moving right along, Google actually put out a new device coming. Did it drop yet? The Nexus.
I played with one today.
Nice.
One of the doctors at work had one.
Okay.
He dropped it too.
He dropped it.
Had a nice ding on the upper right hand corner. Well, he's a doctor. What are you gonna do?
So much for Gorilla Glass, huh?
Yeah. Buy another one.
So, you know, for all those who don't know, we'll run through the specs real briefly. Nexus 7. The tablets are by Asus. That's A-S-U-S, not Asus.
Like Dr. Seuss.
Like Dr. Seuss, you know. So the resolution, screen resolution, they're giving us 1280 by 800 HD.
That's decent.
Yeah. Tegra 3 chipset, quad-core CPU, and a 12-core GPU. After watching the keynote, they were trying to say something to the effect of like a 14-core, 16-core, which is all bullshit. But you know, they gotta sell the product, so. There you have it.
They'll say what they must.
You know,
it's pretty snappy though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty snappy. Well, they threw a shitload of hardware spec at it, but I remember reading there was like a Google engineer gone mad like a year or two ago, and he was bashing Android. Well, he wasn't really bashing it. He was just saying the reason Android is always so chuggy is because there's no segregation between there's no priority between the front running processes in the OS and applications. So you had apps running on the same processes thread as core fundamentals in the OS. Things like rendering and screen, you know, flipping from screen to screen. That was on the same process thread as any other app. So that's why you would see that jitteriness in Android back and forth. But so they worked it out apparently.
And if you're wondering exactly what the hell he just said, I'll try and break it down as best I can. one app uses a function of the device, whereas some other function of the device is using the CPU at the same time as the app. Am I correct?
It's close.
So basically, it's like playing a tug of war. So the processor is the rope. Here you have an app on one side and perhaps an app on the other side, and they're pulling for CPU strength. And then you have jittery, you have app crashing, you have possible device crashing. So definitely a function of Google Android devices. A lot of app crashing, so on and so forth. What's next?
FC, that's what they call it. Force quitting.
Force quitting.
Force closing. My bad.
Force
quit
close.
is a Q.
Right. So basically, it's like, okay, if the app can't get priority, it closes. It force closes.
I think it varies from like manufacturer to manufacturer, because like something used to crash on your HTC device.
Almost everything.
On my Motorola, like the phone.
The
phone used to crash.
How?
I don't fucking know. On my SG2, I think the calendar crashes every now and then.
Yeah.
It's just the dumbest shit.
Actually, that happens on the SG3 now. Also, the calendar crashes all the time. We'll get into that briefly.
But the Nexus seems nice. The price is nice.
The price is actually great. One starting at $199 for the Nexus 7.
Not bad.
It's not bad. A plethora of other functions. Wi-Fi, yada yada. Always the same.
The
Bluetooth.
form factor.
Right. Form factor.
7 inches is nice, especially when I held it today.
Wow.
It's nice.
Okay.
It's like this.
Nice.
It's literally like this. You can hold it like this, and it gets even better when you try to type, because on this thing, holding it with two hands like this trying to type is a nightmare. But on the 7-inch tablet, it feels natural to type. It's not bad.
Okay. Well, so it's sooner or later somebody is going to like do this to it and try to.
Yeah, that's the Galaxy Note.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Something to that effect.
5 some odd screen.
Yeah. So it's supposedly it's coming also NFC compliant. That's the direction of most devices. That most devices are going nowadays. So 9 hours video playback, 300 hours standby time, which is good. Nothing bad. Unit weight is actually 340 grams, which is rather light. Of course, it's not as big as the clunky iPad.
Which is not clunky, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Who would have thought, right? iPads referred to as clunky.
Exactly.
Steve Jobs be damned. 7 inches out of shit. 7
inches.
He said it will never take off.
Yeah, that's what he said, but then where is he?
That's what she said.
So, and other things that it'll be coming with the Jelly Bean 4.1 OS update. Not much different from Ice Cream Sandwich. Just a few tweaks, minor tweaks, a few things. For the Android in you. Again, starting price $199. It's looking good. It's shaping up to be a rather decent device. Solid competitor to the Amazon's tablet.
I don't even consider that a tablet. That shit didn't even have access to the market. Wait, did it?
I thought eventually it did.
One of them didn't have access. I think it was the Kindle. Right, that is Amazon. Right, I don't think it had access to Google's Play Store. Yeah. Why the fuck do they call it Play Store?
There's more Google treachery. So that's the Nexus 7. One other thing I'm going to get also briefly into. We tried to get it to you a little sooner, but I was able to get my hands on the Samsung Galaxy S3. I'll take this wretched case off of it that my partner doesn't like. He feels that it's useless. I drop my phones all the time, so if you haven't seen it by now, this is the rant and the rave, the Galaxy S3. I'm going to give you my opinion about it, and you will be thoroughly surprised that I actually like it. It's actually a rather decent device. It's comes with a lot of features. Battery life compared to my Windows phone sucks, but it's much better than, you know, prior Android devices. Of course, they did a good job at allowing, you know, users to manage the apps that are running, manage, you know, things that are going on with the device. Not as much going on at one time with the device, allowing for better battery life.
And that's ice cream sandwich, right?
This is ICS, yes. A lot of functions, a lot of cool functions. Face recognition, of course, that's a function of ice cream sandwich. The device is NFC compliant. It also has a, you know, rather decent camera. So the camera on the SG3 is actually rather decent. It's a pretty good camera. I really don't like it as well as I do the Titan 2's camera. I mean, of course, 16 megapixel. I mean, you really can't beat that. But particularly, I would go with my Titan with indoor shots. It takes much better indoor shots without actually having to tweak the camera settings. Whereas the SG3 actually, you know, it gives you more of a darker picture. You know, when taking indoors. Outdoor pictures are actually pretty damn good. Can't beat it. There are a lot of other functions, a lot of other cool functions about the device. I'm actually a big fan of screenshots. One of the
You're lying.
Yeah.
You're lying. That's not what you said.
Yeah. Well,
that's what screenshots do for you.
So, you know, screenshots on this are actually taken quite easily. So, for those who might have it set up, because a lot of functions of the device can actually be turned off, of course, to save battery life. So, here's how you take a screenshot. You actually take your hand and swipe it across the screen, either direction, and it takes a picture of the screen, which I thought was rather cool. Again, a lot of other cool features about this device. This is actually the Pebble Blue.
That shit's purple, by the way.
He feels like it's purple. It's actually blue. But you know, I wasn't going with the white, you know, iPhone-ish look.
So you went with Barney.
Really? Well, yeah. What am I gonna do? So but again, it's actually a rather good device. So for those of you who are looking for a new device, in the meantime, in between time, before the Windows 8 devices come out, this is actually a pretty good stand-in until then. I really feel that this might not be overshadowed by the iPhone 5, considering what the iPhone 5 is supposed to look like, as well as the software update, which is not much of an update. This is actually, you know, an update for those who might be running Gingerbread, so on and so forth. So
yeah, that shit sucks.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. So for those looking for a new phone, I'm gonna, you know, definitely recommend the Galaxy S3. Pretty good device. I mean, I actually had to knock the stars down. I originally gave it a 9.5. I have to take that back. I have to give it I'm going to give it a 8.5 to a 9 for...
That's still pretty high.
That's actually, yes, that's pretty high for an Android device. You know, 7.8 screen, not much bigger than the Titan. Noticeable, but not much. Pretty good, pretty decent. Moving right along. Let's talk about Batman.
Shit. Some goddamn Batman.
Can you show them that?
Motherfucking.
That's actually the hat. Are we still giving that away on the site?
Yeah, the giveaway is still active. Actually, yeah.
Okay, so this is actually the hat we're giving away on the site.
I forgot when it ends. All right, just get your ass on the site.
Yeah, check the site out for
leave a comment,
details,
and you'll be entered.
You know, exactly.
It's a snapback too.
Yeah, that's like the new wave.
You know, everything's got to be a snapback and tattoos, the youngins say.
Yeah, I'm just really too old for snapbacks. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not telling you how old I am, but you know, I am too old. So.
Forever young. Fuck that.
Forever young. Hove said it best. Forever young.
So yeah, before we get into Batman, limited edition New Era. Shout out to the folks at New Era. They sent us over a few. So register if you win. You get some limited edition shit. We wanted to get them a little sooner so we could have them to people.
Right.
By the time the movie came out, but it took a while to get here. But you know, whatever. The hysteria is still going on. So
yeah, movie's actually pretty damn good.
It's my favorite movie of all time,
right now. I'm not gonna go with all time for me, but I will say
what's in front.
I mean, I'm still an Aliens. I'm old fashioned. I personally, when it comes to sci-fi action, monster flicks, whatever you want to call them, I'm old fashioned. Aliens is just me. You know.
You like Prometheus?
I like Prometheus. Okay. You know, we're not going to go too deep into it. For those who didn't see Prometheus, go out and see it. It should still be in movies.
Yeah, I think so.
In theaters. Now it will soon be gone if it's not gone already. Great. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but that's also a great movie. But back to Batman. Batman was a great movie. The character that played Bane, I was actually trying to figure out if that was actually him talking. It showed him kind of like his throat moving, but I think that might have been, you know, just for the look of it. I don't know. But
now there's definitely like some echo effects going on in that shit because his voice was fucking menacing.
Yeah, the acting was great.
He had swag.
He did. His
Bane has swag.
I mean, I like what Christopher Nolan did he didn't reinvent the character Bane, but what he did was he added a different type of twist. In the comic books and the cartoons, Bane actually had a device hooked up to him. He was actually rather scrawny, all right, and the particular device he had hooked up to him injected a serum. It was actually controlled on his wrist. It injected something into his body that actually caused his muscles to expand, and he was like this big hulking brute. But I think that would kind of give kind of a way into like, what is that, juicing and taking steroids and stuff. And I don't think that the producers wanted to kind of like encourage the use of something for, you know, like enhancements, sports enhancements.
That's bullshit, because Scarecrow is fucking doping everybody in the first one.
Yeah, but you know, it's just, you can follow what I'm saying. Like, they don't want to, he gets big when he takes some stuff, so they kind of switched them up.
Didn't somebody get accused of that? Captain America, right?
I don't know.
Some fucking politician somewhere said Captain America.
Well, Captain America, actually, that was the super soldier serum.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Again, it's that somewhat of a physical enhancer, you know, something to that effect. But, you know, Marvel, DC, it's comic books, whatever. What are you gonna do? So
Bane was the shit.
Bane actually stole it. Like, I can actually see that movie a few more times, and absolutely love it every time.
Yeah, no joke, no joke. I actually watched the first one yesterday because there was a lot. The first one had a lot to do with the Dark Knight Rises more so than the second one.
Right.
So I had to like go back because there was a few. Listen, if you haven't seen the movie yet, stop. Put a link, you can skip past the shit because I might spoil it for you. What are you gonna do? Shoot me.
We're going to spoil it for you.
So there was a part where, should we even say it?
Yes.
Robin was on the roof, and he was telling Bruce Wayne that he knew who he was.
Right. Well, this is in this.
This movie. This was in a new one. And he was like, "How did you know?" So like it kept bothering me. Like, how the fuck did he know? He said something about a rooftop.
Yeah.
So when I went back and watched Batman Begins, you remember there was a part where he was like crawling on the fucking side of the building. He had his little night vision thing out, and the kid walked out on the balcony, and he said something like, "The other kids will never believe me," so he tossed them the.
Yeah.
That was him.
Right.
And then the second part, like toward the end, when Rachel was on the roof, she had the kid with her.
Right.
And Rachel said, "Well, I don't even know." After Batman had saved her, he said, "Well, what's your name? I don't even know your name." So he repeated something that Rachel told Bruce Wayne, and then he jumped off the roof. So then Rachel said, "Bruce?"
Right.
But Robin was behind her, so she, he knew who it was.
Put two and two together.
Right. So all along, he became a cop, and so
which is also again another spin to the Robin.
Right.
Robin gets up with Batman, so to speak, type thing. It threw another spin because Robin was never a police officer.
No, he wasn't.
Right. He was actually an acrobat. His family,
right,
were
he was an orphan too.
Right, he was an orphan after his family passed away. They supposedly died in an acrobat accident. They were in like a traveling circus, so that's how that happened. But this was a good look or a good spin on how to change up the characters and give the producers another kind of angle to bring to the characters that were on there. Great look, great movie. I mean, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars simply because it's a DC movie, and I'm pro Marvel, but it was a great Batman. It was a great way to close out. Looking forward to Superman. So
Christopher Nolan is doing Superman.
Chris is doing Superman. Great look. He did a great job on Batman, and I see the type of movie that Superman is going to be
in the preview.
It's not what you think. It's not all out Superman. He gets his ass kicked by the villain, kryptonite, yada yada yada. It's actually telling a story.
Yeah, he had like a real human. He really person feel to him in the preview.
Right. He was actually a farmer. He was doing things manual labor. So look out for that. We'll probably be pushing out the trailer to that soon.
Neo to the son of Jor-El.
Got some things for you to see. We actually weren't able to get the last couple of kicks. This is actually that actually dropped a few weeks ago, that were the Olympic Jordan number 6s. The Olympic Jordan number 6s and the 180 Air Max 180 Force 180s.
Those are dope. I did like those.
Yeah, you could check them out actually on a post I did in reference to the Barcelona Olympics. The kicks that were actually worn during it. You might see Charles Barkley was actually wearing the Force 180s. So
didn't those spin off into the flights, the air flights?
Well, no, actually, flights are actually their own set of sneakers within Nike.
They look similar though, no?
Similar but different. Their flights are actually lighter. I'll touch on it briefly. Flights are actually worn by, you might find a point guard or a shooting guard, or in some cases a small forward, because they have a tendency of being slashers, drivers. So at those positions, you want to have a lighter sneaker. You want to be able to move quickly. You don't want something that's too resistant to motion. A lot of lateral moves, a lot of push, stop and pops, a lot of cuts that point guards, shooting guards, and small forwards do. So you want a flight sneaker.
Right.
Whereas a power forward, sometimes small forward, and a center will wear a force sneaker. Force sneakers have a tendency of being more durable. They hold up to a greater weight. Of course, power forward centers are much heavier than shooting guards and point guards. So your sneaker should accommodate, the position that you play. So on and so forth. There you have force versus flight under Nike. So now, over the past weekend, we had a couple of releases, and let's say about a week or so, another release. We're gonna start off with, move this shite pad out the way. Yeah, that's good. What we have here, and you know what, I'm kind of tight because he's actually gone, you know, is here we have the Jeremy Lin Air Force One.
Oh wow, he sure did boogie on New York.
Yeah, so this, like, it's great to have because, you know, they dropped it for him and, you know, he's not here anymore, but you know what, the sneaker came out, so it's like, hey, you know, here's his sneaker. This man barely had a career and he now has a sneaker, you know. Well, everybody has an Air Force One, but, you know, nice denim toe pad, center pad is denim as well. The rest is kind of it's not leather, but it's like a soft type of durable type of thing. Blue and orange is the colors. Lin on the tongue tag. The heel tag has number 17, which was his number.
Is he taking his number with him, or?
Doubtful, because 9 times out of 10, I think he went to Houston. Somebody probably has the number 17. They're probably not going to let him rock out with that. On the other sneaker, on the toe tag, everything is pretty much the same, except for the heel tag. JL on that particular portion of the sneaker. And you know, it's actually a nice sneaker. I have absolutely nothing to wear with this, but I'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Good thing to have. Right now, these are not premiums or Supreme Air Force Ones, so they actually slightly cheaper than those particular sneakers. These will set you back maybe about 110, 120.
What? How much are premiums?
Premiums are actually like between 130 and 150.
The fuck out
And Supremes are actually anywhere from 150 to maybe 200 plus whatever.
Fuck that.
Alright, look, I'm a sneakerhead, so you know I've spent as much as $400 for a pair of sneakers. You know, it's me.
Was that your Concords?
No, actually, I spent $300 for the Concords.
I like the Concords. Yeah. Those are nice.
Yeah. You know, I was blessed to find them on eBay. Actually, they came from Poland. Yeah. You know, the price was right. They were official. For those of you who don't know how to shop on eBay, if you don't know how to shop on eBay, then you don't know how to shop. Treat eBay like you do your local stores. You know, there's some stores that you go to, you can look at sneakers and you can tell just by the store. There's nothing in here that's new, that's official. You know, it's not real. Well, you treat eBay the same way. You know, read the descriptions. You know what I'm saying? It tells you what's there. You know, and again, if they're frauding you with the product that they're selling, you have a right to send it back and receive a full refund. So read it all. They usually, and most people selling things on eBay will allow for you to return if you are dissatisfied, long as it's returned within a few days, you know, for receiving it, and so on and so forth. I've never had a problem.
You wear it to your man's barbecue.
Yeah, don't wear the sneakers because you won't get the sneakers or the money. So moving right along, the next I have, here you go, Jumpman. You know, didn't Kanye say something about the new Yikon Yeezys jumped over the Jumpman?
That's what he said?
That's what he said. Damn you, Ye. Damn you.
Is that true?
Well, I mean, his sneakers actually sold for about $250, $220, and they're now worth somewhere in excess of $2,000. Yeah.
I don't get it with these sneakers, B.
Well, I want a pair. Kanye, can I get a pair? This is the second time.
Fuck the sneakers. Give me a car or something.
I'll take that too. You know, car with the sneakers.
I'll take your old Lambo.
Right. So, again, remember the post Barcelona Olympics.
Put the link in the show
1992. We'll add the link so you can check it out. Your boy MJ, he actually had these on during the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. And here they are again. These sneakers were actually retroed. This is the second time they're actually being retro.
Same color?
Same color. This is one that's actually with the number 9 on the back.
So you bought the same goddamn shoe again?
No, I didn't have these before.
What the fuck?
Well, you know, I wanted them. But anyway, so these are actually quite nice. I actually like them.
Yeah, right.
They were the colorway was retro at one point. I don't recall if it had the number 9 on the back, but it said on the side there was kind of like an engraving or a stitching that said love for the game. It was like a heart and so on and so forth. So, but I mean, people bought them, but those aren't the Olympic Jordans. Those are love for the game Jordans. And you know, these actually are the Olympic Jordans. As you see, red, white, and blue colorway with the gold, you know, gold spots. You know, not much gold, but you know, gold here and there. The Jumpman is in gold. Tongue blue with the gold lettering. Pretty good. I actually, I never got a chance to get these when I was younger. You know, thank you for my job. You know, blessed me to purchase these. I'm not going to tell you how much I spent for them, but you know, they were good. Good to have.
You didn't even wear them yet.
No, I didn't.
You probably won't wear them yet.
No, I probably won't. So, you know, this is like my 3rd pair of sneakers with the same colorway. You know, but hey, you know, you only live once. You know, you gotta treat yourself. Yellow. So, you know, and that would be all for us this time around.
Actually, before we go, so it turns out that what the hell is the name of the studio that does these Batman films?
That's Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah. So I think Warner Brothers is actually going to give a good bit of money to the victims at the Colorado shooting.
Well, yes.
And Christian Bale actually visited some of them at the hospital, which was
rather
really
admirable.
Cool. Yeah. You know, you always like to hear shit like that. People with heart. You know, that was a crazy situation right there. I don't know what the fuck goes on in Colorado, but
yeah, it's
not cool.
Different type of lifestyle out there. I guess maybe it's, you know, Colorado actually sits in a valley, so you know.
Fuck, they don't get air in a valley if they're acting like that.
Hell if I know, but apparently 15 dead, like 15 dead, 16 wounded, or 14 wounded.
Yeah, it was like
14
dead and like
something to
some
that
crazy
effect.
shit.
You know, please people, if you out having a good time, you know, listen, it's not that serious. Keep the guns at home. You know, let's go out, have a good time.
Yeah, so
you know?
Shout out to Warner Brothers for that, and I think like during some of the news coverage for the issue, they was actually like they pulled the commercials.
Yeah.
For Batman, and I think they weren't releasing the numbers that they did at the box office in respects to the victims. So now here they are. They're gonna give, you know, they're gonna set up a foundation or whatever they're gonna do. And
that's good. That's good. I mean, the movie is at. I'm more than sure that the movie is doing good. So how much did the movie pull?
160 in 2 days. 160 million.
160 million. Those are numbers if I haven't ever seen. You know.
So it's doing good. They can afford to help some people out, especially those who really need it. And sucks that, you know, they didn't get to see it. Some people died, which you know, real sad situation. But shout out to Warner Brothers for doing that. And Christian Bale for he wasn't even acting on behalf of the studio. He just
went out there and did what he did.
He just went to see if it. So you know, it's good to see people with heart.
Right. Real noble thing he did.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, guys, for checking us out. Lifestyles Defined. My name is Tawan. My partner.
Ramon. Check out the site, Twitter, Facebook. We're everywhere.
Like us everywhere. Love us everywhere.
Peace.
Peace.
Audio